Hello, this is Mr. Orozco, and in this video we're going to create a simple 3D shape. We are going to talk about constraints and how to use the browser to keep history of things. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm just going to start with a simple part. Okay, now we are in the working area. Every part that we create using Inventor, it starts with a 2D sketch. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to move on to the top left where it says Start 2D Sketch. I'm going to click on it. And the next thing that it's asking me is in what plane am I supposed to create this 2D shape? So as I highlight each one of the planes, they tell me which planes they are. XZ plane, so it goes with this axis and this axis. Then if I look at this plane, this is the YZ plane, Y and Z plane, and finally the XY plane. So I'm going to choose the XY plane for this part. And I'm going to try to create an L-shaped part, but I'm going to kind of do it in a funny way because there is a purpose of why I'm doing it. So I'm going to choose line. Then as soon as I click, my line appears. That will be the first point, second point of the line. And as you can see, the line, the function of creating a line stays on as long as I keep pressing. So it's still on. I can right click and hit OK. Now this is my L shape. So the purpose that this L is kind of this figure is because I want to talk about constraints. So if we look here on the ribbon on the top, we have constraints. What is very nice about Inventor is that if you hover over your options, this little menu appears showing you, giving you an explanation of what the options are. So for this one, I'm going to use this horizontal constraint. So what it's going to do is that it's going to set my line and it's going to align it with the horizontal. So as soon as I click this line, there you go, it was aligned with the horizontal line. This constraint over here is called parallel constraint. Now I am going to make these two lines parallel. So I click on the first line, second line. Now these two lines are parallel with each other. Another constraint that we have is perpendicular constraint. So if I want two lines to be at 90 degrees, I can click on the first line, second line. Then how about this two again? There you go. Now finally, let's use another horizontal constraint. And then how about a vertical constraint for this end over here? So there you go. We have used constraints to make our L shape. This is my L shape. I know it still looks kind of funny. So why don't we use this dimension tool? If I click on dimension and then select the line, then move out of that line, I can see that it gives me the size of this. Since I chose to create a shape from the beginning menu, it automatically by default Inventor takes me into inches. So this will be inches. So 1.25 inches. Let's make this 2 inches. Okay, so there you go, it's 2 inches. I'm going to make the height of this letter to be, let's say, 4 inches. Now you can make, you can create dimension constraints just like I did before by clicking on the line and moving outwards, or you can click on 2 points. So that would be 1 point, another point, same thing. I move out of it, and this is my measurement. So I'm going to put 3 inches. Okay, so that's very high. I'm going to decrease this size over here. I'm going to put 1 inch. Okay, so that is my L shape. Let's put this one again, 1 inch as well. So this is my L. Okay, now I'm going to hit finish sketch. Okay, so that is my two-dimensional L. And now the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to extrude this shape. So when I extrude it, that's when the shapes become three-dimensional. So in the top left, right next to start to the sketch, you have extrude option. Once again, if you just if you just hover over that option, this menu appears showing you, giving you an explanation of what it does. So I'm just going to click on it. Now, as you can see, this new window appear giving you options. The first thing that we have here is it automatically started giving me a preview of how the shape is going to look. So right now it is extending the shape outwards towards in the Z axis by a distance of 1 inch. So distance over here, 1 inch. You can do this by 2. So if I select a specific, say that I wanted to extend up to a particular place or in between. So I'm just going to leave it for distance. Then we have different options here. We have which direction do you want this shape to extend. So if I click the other direction, it will go backwards. Okay. Then we have symmetric. So as you can see, the shape was extended in both directions in reference to the original plane. And then this one will be isometric. So you can play with this many different ways. So you have distance to one direction, then the distance to the other direction. For this one, I'm just going to leave it to 1 inch. And I'm going to hit OK. Before I hit OK, if you look here at the bottom, we have the same options that we have on this window. So I can just hit OK over here or hit this check mark. As you start getting more comfortable with Inventor, you probably start using this section down here more often. So I'm just going to click check mark, and there you go. We have our first 3D part. Now, something else that I wanted to talk about was our browser. So let me just set this to my isometric view. And if we move to the left, here I have a history of what I've been doing. So extrusion, this is when I extruded the shape into a 3D form. And when I click in that little plus sign to the left, you can see that the sketch that I created, it's there. You can use the history. Let's say that I needed to change some a specific part of this shape. I can just right click on the sketch, edit its sketch, and then maybe let's double click here, change this to 0.75 inches, and this one 0.75 inches. Okay. And when I hit finish the sketch, my part was changed. So that's one way that we can use this history. Let's say that we wanted to add something to this new shape. So I will start by hitting the start to the sketch. However, this time when I hit it, it doesn't show me the planes. What I need to do is actually select one of the faces of the shape that I already have to work on. So let's give this shape, I'm just going to create a little rectangle here. I'm not really going to do anything with it. I just want to tell you something about the browser history. So I just created that little square, hit finish. So as you can see now, I have my 3D shape, and then I have this new sketch that I just created. If we look to the left, we have this sketch that was extruded. So it falls inside this extrusion. But then we have a sketch number 2, which is this little square here to the left. Sketches are consumable. So this sketch number 1, was consumed by the extrusion. Sketch number 2 has not been consumed. So that's what it means when they are consumable. I can delete a sketch number 2 if I want to, but if I right click on a sketch number 1, I cannot delete. That option doesn't even appear because I need to get rid of the extrusion first. So that is it for this video. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like. Thank you.